Naziah Harris's story has impacted so many people that it has now worked its way into proposed legislation. So the law is called the Naziah Harris Protection Law, and you can sign the petition over on change.com. But let's go ahead and talk about what this law hopes to do. Basically, it holds any adult accountable who is aware that a child is being abused and does not speak up or does not report it to the police. This was huge in the Naziah Harris case because so many adults that were around have now come out saying that they were aware 2-3 years in advance that Naziah was being taken advantage of, but failed to report it to police. That could actually save a life.
Well, the honor is mine, and this is a very important story. I want you first, if you can briefly, tell me about Naziah Harris, 13 years old, pregnant girl, murdered. Tell me this story and how this sparked this new law, and then we'll talk about the legislation.
Wow, this story is just so heart-wrenching. This baby girl was being abused by an uncle. He was married to the aunt. They had 5 children together. They lived in the sharing home. He had been grooming her since she was 11 years old. Found out that she was pregnant when she was 13. She never made it home to school. They found out that the husband or the father of the aunt's children, he actually took this girl and murdered her, got rid of the body because she refused to have an abortion. And things are coming out now as this case is continuing to show that they were adults that were aware of this abuse that was taking place in the home and no one reported it. And I just said, you know, enough is enough. It's the guard has changed now. We're fighting more in America to protect our children when it comes to health, when it comes to their safety. And we need to make sure that if there are adults that are aware of children being abused in any type of way and they fail to report it, that they also face some sort of legal consequence. And I think most of America agrees that it's time for us to stand up for our children.
You know, it's amazing to me that people could remain silent in something like this. If you know about sexual abuse or physical abuse of a child and you remain silent, you're almost just as much as a monster as the monster that is conducting the abuse.
And that is so true because silence is violence. Had someone said something, this could have been prevented, and I'm sure that Naziah Harris would still be with us. So we want to make sure that she isn't just another forgotten case and that these things continue to happen. Let's begin to hold adults responsible that are aware of any type of abuse towards children, and they don't report it. You're correct. They're just as guilty.
Yeah. All right, the accused murderer, the trial is not finished yet, as I understand it, but the judge did have some choice words for him sending his case to trial. Let me just play this for you.
Naziah deserves so much more. And while I mentioned other people that failed her in her life, she was ignored, she was neglected, and you took complete advantage of that.
So, Angela, what's interesting, she did mention people that ignored her and her need for help. This legislation, it's at a federal level. It would mandate that there are some penalties against people that don't report this. How does this play out? What is the response? I take it, I don't know why you wouldn't get bipartisan support on this. I really don't. You think everybody would want to protect the kids. Tell me where it is now and how this is playing out in Washington.
You know, we're pushing for this law. We're also pushing for our guy, RFK, to get confirmed on Wednesday. So there are a lot of things that's moving. But, of course, we need support from every single side. You know, protecting our children and making our children healthy, keeping America safe. These things should not be political. And this is one of the things that, you know, I just went through with stepping over from the Trump campaign over to the RFK campaign to show that we should always be people over party. When it comes to situations like this, stories like this, where children are losing their lives, where we have sick children all over America, it should never be political. It should always be the right thing to do. And I'm so happy to be a part of what we've created, the Unity Party, where we're all together now. It doesn't matter, you know, what party we want to represent. What matters is that we're standing for what's right and we're condemning what's wrong. And the right thing to do is to stand up for children like Naziah Harris. We need everyone to go over to change.org, sign the petition, call your local senators, let them know we need to get this Naziah Harris law passed, and we need to get RFK confirmed on Wednesday, January 29th.